Okay, and we're rolling. Hello, and welcome back to our second season of Virtual Studio Visit Series. I'm Thomas Engelman, Director of Galleries at Howard Community College. Today with me, I have Robin Holiday, owner of Horse Spirit Gallery, located in historic Savage Mills in Savage, Maryland. Robin, thank you for joining us. And I'd love to just begin with asking you, how did Horse Spirit come to fruition, and what was the decision to start an art gallery? Did you have a background working in galleries prior?
First of all, Thomas, it's really nice to be here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. In answer to your question, I do not have a background in art. My undergraduate degree and master's of science is in nuclear engineering, and for 26 years, I went into national security. But I knew about the time I was 11 that I wanted to have a gallery. I have loved art. It's how I spent my money when I was 20 years old. So I've been appreciating art for a long time, and I've also been creating things. The gallery is 7.5 years old, and I'll just say one thing about switching careers is the the most challenging part of it is self-esteem, because you go from an environment where you've built your career, in my case for 26 years, you're known for what you do, and then all of a sudden you change into something, in my case, that I didn't have a background in, no pedigree, anything, and I completely started over. So the change is not for the faint of heart, but it is absolutely worth doing.
Excellent. Yeah, it's that is quite a jump from your former into the art world. That's amazing. I think students will really levitate towards that type of idea and thinking of that. Just because you're doing one career doesn't mean at some point you can't switch and start something new and exciting. So, what makes the Horse Spirit Gallery unique? Is your gallery model influenced or inspired by a particular ethos or pathos?
Absolutely. So, a couple things. When I have always wanted to have this gallery, right? And when I turned 50, my husband really got sick with a life threatening disease, and we didn't know what was going to happen. And as soon as it was clear he was well and out of the woods, we made a life decision, if not now, when. So I started my gallery. So the gallery is it's 7.5 years old, and I really wanted it to be only local artists, and I really wanted it to be a community of artists. So it's not just a place you drop off your art and you leave. It's not like that. It's you meet the other artists. You get to know one another. You attend one another's events. I pick artists based on two criteria. One is if I think they're talented, and two, if they're kind. They're kind and they have integrity. In my first career, I didn't get to pick, in the technical field, you're picked for your technical competence and your knowledge in an area. But in my second career, it was all about who I'm going to be working with. Do I trust them? Do I respect them? Vice versa. And that has made all the difference. So that's really the strongest point about the gallery.
Excellent. So these artists, when you're selecting them, you had mentioned, you go by their artwork, their kindness, their personalities. Um, do you potentially like go seeking them, or do they come to you?
Well,
What's kind of your process?
it's a combination of both. So when I first started, I started only with my artwork and a couple of painters whose work I had bought. So when the gallery originally opened in August of 2013, I had 9 artists, and I picked them. I went and found them. But what started to happen is it became uh, artist friends, people they knew that they respected, and they would introduce them to me. And then, I would make decisions based on that. So, of the 9 artists that I started with, I still have 5 of them. So, my business model is we date long term. You
Wow,
know, and anybody can leave when they want to, but I pick the person, I pick their talent, and then as they expand into other, areas, if that matches where I want to go, then I include that type of art.
excellent. So if I were a student and I were interested in becoming an artist who was represented by a gallery, or working with you, what would kind of be your advice to that newly budding artist and student?
Well, first of all, it is not important to me whether or not somebody has an art degree. What is important to me is if somebody is continuing to hone their skills and work on themselves. So, if you majored in biology, but you're working and studying on your art and you're getting better, I'm right there with you. I have an artist in the gallery. She joined when she was 22 years old. She'd never been in a gallery. Jennifer Hudson, I believe you know her.
I do.
I think you even gave her an award at a Howard County Arts Council show.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
she is an exceptional artist, and she joined for paper cuts, but she is also doing pen and ink as well, and so she has both in the gallery. So my point being is, at least in my gallery, if you have a following or don't, that is not as important to me as if you are continually working on yourself. So how would you get in a gallery? I can only speak for mine, but how that works is you could stop by and introduce yourself. That's always helpful. But don't bring your portfolio with you because I am busy as all get out. And what helps is for artists to send me a link of their work, and not photos because they'll shut down my email, but send me a link to their work. Um, and then we'll go from there. If it's something that I'm interested in. And also at this point, I represent 51 artists. So anybody I bring in at this point has to be different than somebody I have because I'm very respectful of artist domains. I don't step on anybody, people that a Horse Spirit Arts Gallery is a for-profit gallery, right? So these people are trying to sell their art and they look for me to do that. So I don't want to bring in an artist who's identical to somebody I have.
That's great. It
But
really
yes,
helps.
I love the idea of cultivating new talent. I mean, that is maybe it's a maternal instinct. I don't know, but it's really important to me. So I welcome that.
Excellent. Um, Also, I guess a large elephant in the room is COVID. How have you kind of rolled with COVID in terms of how your gallery operates?
So I have really erred on the side of caution.
Mhm.
We shut down for the first 3 months, of course. After that, we only let 12 people in at a time. This is important because the gallery is 3,500 square feet of display space with another 1,000 square feet of storage and an art classroom. So I have been really, really careful. We suddenly and very quickly developed an online capability. And so what I've learned from that is people, they look online and use it as a shopping catalog and then will come in and see it. And then, some of them are in here like 20 minutes, they've already decided, but they wanted to see it in person. It's hard to buy a $3,000 painting you've never seen in person unless you know the artist, right? So COVID's been very hard. We've had no events, we've had online things like that. Um, I will say our patrons have been extraordinary. I would not be in business if they've kept buying art during this time. And yes, it was not a great year, but we didn't go under. And it's clear we're going to make it. And we've already survived 2 floods in Ellicott City. So we've had 2 floods and now a pandemic, and it's clear to me we're going to make it. So I'm figuring we're going to make it through anything.
Excellent. That's really good to hear. As a big supporter of the arts and a patron of many galleries, I love hearing that. You also mentioned you had a classroom space. Do you offer courses or anything else you can talk about to that
Yeah, we
nature?
offer classes. They're taught by the artists who are in the gallery. So, our classroom will hold 20, but depending on the type of classroom, sometimes, the painters will have like 6 because that's what they feel comfortable with. And then a mosaic class will have up to 20. So it just depends. Of course, all that's shut down now. And
Mhm.
once vaccinations are out there, then we'll resume.
Excellent. That's great to know you have a secondary program. Um, So, lastly, I would just like to kind of end with, so if I am a patron and I'm coming into your gallery for the first time, um, I've seen photographs, and just so everyone knows, there is a large catalog Robin has provided me with, and it will accompany this talk as well. Um, how do you, I guess, greet someone and help them navigate the space? Because there's a lot of artwork within your space, and it's beautifully hung as well.
Oh, thank you. Well, first of all, I believe art comes in many forms. So I have everything from jewelry and pottery, silk scarves, all the way to, a $16,000 fine oil painting and sculpture. So I really believe it spreads a gambit, not only in media, but in price point. When somebody walks in, I ask them if they've been here before. If they haven't, I tell them it's all local and how many artists are here. And then I ask them if there's something in particular they're looking for. And sometimes they'll say, yes, we just bought a home. And then I love spending time with people, helping them figure out what they like, identifying what they like. And then, especially for couples, it's fun because, they don't always agree. So sometimes you can find that middle ground where they're both very happy, and that's very satisfying.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to really talk about your gallery. It again, everyone, there is a large catalog of beautiful images, videos that support Robinson Show's Horse Spirit Gallery. So please make sure to check that out. It can be found on the same page as this interview at howardcc.edu/galleries. Robin, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy day to speak with us. And I really looking forward to getting back together with you and everyone else in the art world.
Well, thank you. May I just add one thing?
Please,
The,
absolutely.
the only reason this gallery is successful is because of the artists. They are tremendous people. I just want to let you know, in both floods in Ellicott City, it was the artists who dug us out of, you know, we got 12 feet of water in the second flood. Both, we had 3 stories, 2 out of the 3 were destroyed. They are the ones who are on their hands and knees doing that. When I moved here, they were the ones grabbing a paintbrush and painting this space. So I am very loyal to them, and I feel like it works the other way. And that makes for a wonderful business model and a very happy life.
Excellent. Yeah, it seems like you've really um, found your path in terms
Yeah.
of the journey life takes you on, and it's really thrilling to hear your story and talk about your gallery.
Thank you
So
so much.
absolutely. Thank you very much for participating. And we'll see you all next time, everyone. Thank you.